Let's talk about the final project that's going to be due for this course at the very end. Now, if you look on Schoology, it's posted in a couple of places, and there's a document that includes the description, the rubric, and a template with some helpful information to get you started on this project. Essentially, the scenario for this project is you have a wealthy and generous friend who's thinking about investing in a new opportunity. He's heard that data centers can make money, and knowing that you are a techie and that you're interested in entrepreneurial pursuits, he's made a proposal. He'll provide the cash as long as you provide the plan and technology for a data center and support it. Now realize that we're talking about $250,000 to $500,000 worth of capital that he's willing to put up front for you to invest in a data center to create services that you could charge customers for in the hopes of making a profitable endeavor. Of course, before he puts that kind of money on the table, he wants you to go through some due diligence and come up with a plan. Figure out what this would look like, how it would work, and put together a well-polished and professional document that proves to him that you know what you're talking about, that you could actually implement this plan, and shows that this would actually be a worthwhile and profitable endeavor. The document is going to have 10 sections. The first section is going to be an introduction, talking about what a data center is and how it can actually be useful or profitable. Are there other companies that are making money this way? The next section is going to be a list of services that you can offer, that you could actually charge customers for. For example, if you want to host virtual machines for customers, or websites, or email, what services could you offer and at what rates could you charge for those particular services? Section 3 is going to be a description of the facility that you would need. Consider things like power, internet, air conditioning, distance from natural disasters or civil unrest. What would you want to consider in a facility or a building that you're going to rent or purchase in order to house this data center? Section 4 is going to be about the hardware. Not only what CPUs, memory, hard drives, server sizes you're going to use, but how is that going to be laid out in racks? What type of rack equipment might you need? Uninterruptible power supplies, network switches? Do you need firewalls? Section 5 is going to be an extension of that and actually show the rack organization, the layout of the physical hardwares in racks in that facility. Be thinking hot and cold aisles. Section 6 is going to be a network plan. How are these devices going to be connected to the internet, and how are our customers going to get the services that they need from these servers? Section 7 will go into the operating systems and software that you're going to need to offer these services. Will you need Windows operating systems, Linux operating systems? What's the cost associated with those operating systems? Is there special software that you need in order to offer these services? Is that software free? Is there a subscription? Which brings us to Section 8. Section 8 is going to be a basic description of security in a data center. Now realize that an actual data center security policy might be hundreds of pages long. I'm really only looking for a demonstration that you know what to think about in terms of securing servers and securing a data center, both from a physical standpoint and a digital one. Of course, in the event of some form of disaster or unthinkable event, we need to have a plan in place. So Section 9 will contain a disaster recovery plan for the most likely points of failure within that data center. In other words, how do we keep the services up so that we can continue to charge customers money and make that data center profitable? Which brings us to Section 10. The final section will tally up all the costs of the hardware, the networking, the facility, all of the implementation, and come up with an upfront cost as well as an ongoing monthly cost to keeping this data center running. Compare that with the monthly usage or the fees that you can collect from customers for using your services to determine whether or not the data center endeavor is actually profitable and worthwhile. From the onset, we like to use the 10% number. In other words, 10% of the potential maximum services we could offer will be in use. And the question becomes, at 10%, can we meet our monthly ongoing costs in order to keep the data center profitable? As the data center continues to exist and builds clientele, we might get up to 50% usage. At that point, how much money are we making? What's the revenue? That last section, section 10, should include your recommendation based on those numbers as to whether or not this will be a profitable endeavor and how much capital is going to be required up front in order to make this happen. Have fun with this project. Don't stress about the fact that you may not actually know every little detail that you need to. I want you to enjoy putting this plan together and thinking through the possibilities of what you could do if you had $500,000 to pour into servers.